The SEC has produced national champions, Heisman winners, and iconic coaches, but its identity is defined by its rivalries. These aren't just games, they're built on history, high stakes, and unforgettable moments. Here's a breakdown of the fiercest rivalries in the Southeastern Conference. Alabama vs. Auburn, Iron Bowl. The Iron Bowl dates back to 1893 when Auburn defeated Alabama 32-22 in Birmingham. After 1907, disagreements between the two schools over finances and player per diems caused a 41-year hiatus. The rivalry resumed in 1948 and has been played annually ever since. Alabama currently leads the series 51-37-1. This game routinely holds national implications, especially since the rise of the SEC as a dominant football conference. Two of the most iconic games came in 1972 and 2013. In 1972, unranked Auburn stunned number 2 Alabama 17-16 by blocking and returning 2 punts in the final 5 minutes. In 2013, with the game tied and 1 second left, Alabama attempted a 57-yard field goal. Auburn's Chris Davis returned the miss 109 yards for a touchdown, now known as the Kick Six. The Iron Bowl has played a key role in deciding the SEC West and national title races, including during Alabama's 2009, 2012, and 2020 championship seasons. Auburn has also used this rivalry as a launchpad, with wins in 2010 and 2017 helping catapult them into the national spotlight. This game transcends football. In Alabama, allegiance to Auburn or Alabama defines identity, and the Iron Bowl has repeatedly determined legacies for players, coaches, and fan bases alike. Georgia vs. Florida, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Georgia and Florida first played in 1915, though Florida doesn't officially recognize that matchup due to a records dispute. Since 1933, the game has been played almost annually and predominantly been held in Jacksonville with a few exceptions, one of the rare neutral site college football rivalries. Georgia holds a 56-44-2 edge in the all-time series. The rivalry intensified in the 1990s during Florida's rise under Steve Spurrier. From 1990 to 2010, Florida won 18 of 21 matchups, often derailing Georgia's SEC title hopes. One of the most pivotal games occurred in 1995 when number 3 Florida dominated number 6 Georgia 52-17 behind Danny Werfel's 5 touchdown passes. Georgia responded in 2007 with a dramatic 42-30 win, highlighted by the entire team storming the end zone after its first touchdown, a symbolic shift in tone under head coach Mark Richt. Florida answered with a 49-10 blowout in 2008, which solidified their SEC East dominance. Since 2017, Georgia has regained control, winning 5 of the last 7 as of 2024, including decisive victories during its national championship runs. LSU vs. Alabama. The LSU-Alabama rivalry has evolved into one of the premier matchups in college football, especially since the early 2000s. First played in 1895, the series has been contested annually since 1964. Alabama leads the all-time record 57-27-5 and dominated much of the 2010s. The rivalry gained national prominence with the hiring of Nick Saban, who won a national championship at LSU in 2003 before taking over at Alabama in 2007. Tensions escalated when both programs became SEC West powers and national contenders. In 2011, the rivalry reached a peak with the Game of the Century when number 1 LSU defeated number 2 Alabama 9-6 in overtime. The two teams met again in the BCS National Championship, with Alabama dominating 21-0 in the rematch. In 2019, LSU snapped an 8-game losing streak to Alabama with a 46-41 win in Tuscaloosa. Joe Burrow passed for 393 yards, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire added 4 touchdowns. The win propelled LSU toward an undefeated national championship season. In 2022, LSU head coach Brian Kelly made a bold call to go for a 2-point conversion in overtime, securing a 32-31 victory in Baton Rouge. That marked LSU's first home win over Alabama since 2010. Often a de facto SEC West championship game, LSU-Alabama is known for its physical style, defensive intensity, and postseason consequences. Tennessee vs. Florida. Tennessee and Florida began playing annually in 1990 following SEC divisional realignment, and the matchup quickly developed into one of the league's most important games during the 1990s and early 2000s. Florida leads the all-time series 32-22. From 1990 to 2004, both programs were regularly ranked in the top 10, with SEC and national title implications on the line. In 1996, Florida erased a 30-14 deficit behind Danny Werfel's 5 touchdown passes to win 35-29 in a top-5 showdown. 2 years later, Tennessee won a 20-17 overtime thriller in Knoxville, which was their first step toward a national championship that same season. Florida then won 11 straight meetings from 2005 to 2015, with most games heavily favoring the Gators. One of the most memorable in that stretch was 2017, when Felipe Franks connected with Tyree Cleveland on a 63-yard walk-off touchdown pass with no time remaining, winning 26-20 in Gainesville. Tennessee finally ended the streak at home in 2022, winning 38-33 behind quarterback Hendon Hooker's 349 total yards. The win marked only Tennessee's second victory over Florida since 2004. Georgia versus Auburn, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. The rivalry between Georgia and Auburn is the oldest in the Deep South, first played in 1892 in Atlanta's Piedmont Park. Since then, the two programs have met over 125 times, making it one of the longest-running series in college football history. As of 2024, Georgia holds a narrow edge in the all-time series at 65, 56, and 8. This matchup is known for its historical weight, geographic proximity, and frequent tight finishes. The rivalry has featured coaching legends like Vince Dooley and Pat Dye, both of whom had ties to the opposing school, further fueling the tension. Many games in the series have swung SEC title races, especially during the BCS and playoff eras. In 2002, Georgia clinched an SEC East title with a last-minute 19-14 win in Auburn, courtesy of a 19-yard touchdown pass from David Green to Michael Johnson. In 2013, Auburn pulled off the prayer at Jordan-Hare, a 73-yard tipped pass from Nick Marshall to Ricardo Lewis in the final seconds to keep its national title hopes alive. The rivalry shifted in Georgia's favor during the late 2010s and early 2020s, including a dominant win in the 2017 SEC Championship rematch. While no longer a cross-divisional annual game due to SEC scheduling changes, its legacy as one of the most evenly matched and enduring rivalries in the sport remains intact. Texas A&M versus LSU. Texas A&M and LSU first played in 1899, but the rivalry gained modern traction after Texas A&M joined the SEC in 2012. Prior to SEC realignment, the two programs had met regularly, including 11 times between 1986 and 1995, with LSU winning 6 of those matchups. As of 2024, LSU leads the all-time series 36-24-3. When A&M joined the SEC, the schools became annual SEC West opponents. Initially, LSU dominated the series, winning the first 6 SEC meetings from 2012 to 2017. But that changed dramatically in 2018 when Texas A&M won 74-72 in a 7-overtime marathon in College Station, the highest-scoring game in FBS history. The game featured multiple controversial calls, dramatic touchdowns, and a post-game altercation between LSU staff and Jimbo Fisher's nephew. Since then, the rivalry has grown in intensity. In 2020, LSU beat A&M 20-7 in Baton Rouge during a pandemic-shortened season, while the Aggies returned the favor with a 38-23 win in 2022 that derailed LSU's SEC title hopes. The series is notable for its Thanksgiving weekend scheduling, giving it a platform formerly occupied by Texas A&M. With the SEC expanding and divisions dissolving, this rivalry may not remain annual, but it has quickly earned a place among the most compelling cross-border battles in the conference. Arkansas versus LSU, battle for the Golden Boot. The Arkansas-LSU rivalry began in earnest when Arkansas joined the SEC in 1992. Though the teams had met sporadically before, dating back to 1901, their annual matchups became consistent after Arkansas joined the SEC West. The winner receives the Golden Boot Trophy, a 24-karat gold-plated 200-pound trophy in the shape of the two states. As of 2024, LSU leads the all-time series 45-23-2. From 1996 to 2013, the rivalry was often played the day after Thanksgiving, a tradition that created high-profile matchups late in the season. Several games during that period had BCS or SEC West implications. In 2002, Arkansas won 21-20 on a last-minute touchdown to secure a trip to the SEC championship game. In 2007, Arkansas upset top-ranked LSU 50-48 in triple overtime, costing LSU an undefeated regular season, though the Tigers would still go on to win the national title. That game is often remembered as one of the most thrilling in SEC history. In recent years, the rivalry has produced closer games than records might suggest. The 2021 and 2023 matchups were both decided by 3 points or fewer, showcasing the series' unpredictable nature. While the intensity has fluctuated with program success, the battle for the Golden Boot remains a hard-hitting, emotionally charged game, with pride and regional bragging rights always at stake. Oklahoma versus Texas. Red River Rivalry. Although Oklahoma and Texas joined the SEC in 2024, their rivalry is among the most iconic in college football history. Known as the Red River Rivalry, formerly the Red River Shootout, the two teams have met annually since 1929 in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, a neutral site positioned almost exactly between Norman and Austin. As of 2024, Texas leads the all-time series 64-51-5. The game is played during the State Fair of Texas, adding a unique cultural backdrop that enhances the environment. The stadium is split 50-50 between burnt orange and crimson, creating a distinct visual and emotional divide. Key moments include 2008 when number 5 Texas upset number 1 Oklahoma 45-35 in a game that later created BCS controversy. In 2021, Texas jumped out to a 28-7 lead before Oklahoma mounted a furious comeback behind freshman QB Caleb Williams, winning 54-48 in the final seconds. The most lopsided game came in 2003 when Oklahoma shut out Texas 65-13. The Red River Rivalry is poised to become one of the SEC's premier matchups, bringing a century of bad blood into a new era. Mississippi State versus Ole Miss, the Egg Bowl. First played in 1901, the Egg Bowl is the most heated in-state rivalry in the SEC. Officially known as the Battle for the Golden Egg since 1927, the trophy resembles a golden football, added to prevent post-game fights that erupted after a particularly intense 1926 game. As of 2024, Ole Miss leads the all-time series 66-49-6, though the matchup has been relatively even in recent decades. The rivalry is defined by passionate fan bases, dramatic finishes, and its Thanksgiving or Black Friday slot, making it a standalone showcase for Mississippi football. Several games stand out for their chaos. In 2019, Ole Miss scored a late touchdown to come within 1 point, only for receiver Elijah Moore to simulate a dog urinating in the end zone, drawing to a 15-yard penalty that pushed the extra point back and led to a missed kick. Mississippi State held on 21-20. In 2022, Mississippi State returned the favor with a goal line stand to beat Ole Miss 24-22 in Lane Kiffin's home finale that year. Both schools have weaponized the Egg Bowl as a symbol of pride and identity in a state where college football carries massive cultural weight. While neither program regularly contends for national titles, the Egg Bowl stakes are always personal, and the outcome echoes across Mississippi for the next 364 days. South Carolina versus Clemson, the Palmetto Bowl. Though not a conference game, South Carolina versus Clemson remains one of the fiercest rivalries involving an SEC team. Known as the Palmetto Bowl, the series began in 1896, making it one of the oldest in college football. As of 2024, Clemson leads the all-time series 73-44-4. This in-state rivalry escalated in the 20th century, especially once Clemson's national success in the 2010s overlapped with South Carolina's competitive stretch under Steve Spurrier. The Gamecocks won 5 straight from 2009 to 2013, the longest streak in program history. In contrast, Clemson dominated from 2014 to 2021, including several blowout wins during their college football playoff runs. The 2022 meeting was a major turning point. South Carolina, led by quarterback Spencer Rattler, upset number 8 Clemson 31-30 in Death Valley, snapping Clemson's 40-game home win streak and handing the Tigers their first home loss since 2016. Though no longer in the same conference, the rivalry's intensity hasn't faded. Families are split, and players from both sides are often recruited from the same high schools. It's a matchup that carries year-round implications for bragging rights in South Carolina and serves as a postseason warm-up for two passionate programs. Kentucky versus Tennessee. Kentucky and Tennessee have faced off annually since 1910, making it one of the oldest continuous rivalries in the SEC. As of the 2024 game, Tennessee holds a commanding lead in the all-time series, 85-26-9. Despite that lopsided record, the rivalry holds strong regional significance and emotional weight for both fan bases. The 20th century was dominated by Tennessee, particularly during the eras of Johnny Majors and Philip Fulmer. Kentucky snapped a 26-year losing streak in 2011, winning 10-7 in Lexington behind a converted wide receiver at quarterback Matt Rourke. That game remains one of the most celebrated wins in modern Kentucky football history. More recently, the games have been tighter. In 2020, Kentucky won 34-7 in Knoxville, its first road victory over Tennessee since 1984. That game featured 2 defensive touchdowns and marked a rare moment of dominance in Neyland Stadium. In 2021, Tennessee responded with a 45-42 win in Lexington, despite being outgained by over 150 yards. Quarterback Hendon Hooker threw for 4 touchdowns, and Kentucky's last drive ended in turnover on downs. While the rivalry doesn't typically influence SEC title races, the emotional and cultural stakes are high. For Kentucky, beating Tennessee is a measuring stick. For Tennessee, it's a matter of maintaining dominance. For fans, it's a must-win either way. Missouri versus Arkansas, Battle Line Rivalry. The Battle Line rivalry between Missouri and Arkansas is a product of SEC expansion. Missouri joined the league in 2012, and the rivalry was formally branded in 2014, complete with a trophy representing the shared border between the two states. Despite its relatively short history as an annual matchup, the series has gained traction due to its close games and growing stakes. As of 2024, Missouri leads the all-time series 12-4, including a run of dominance early in the SEC era. From 2014 to 2018, Mizzou won 4 of 5 meetings, often spoiling Arkansas's bowl eligibility hopes or late-season momentum. The 2020 game was arguably the most thrilling to date. Missouri won 50-48 on a walk-off field goal, capping off a wild back-and-forth that featured over 1,000 total yards of offense. In 2023, Arkansas responded with a statement win, dominating Missouri 34-17 behind a strong rushing attack. Though not yet among the SEC's historical blue blood rivalries, this matchup benefits from geographic proximity, recruiting overlap, and the conference's efforts to elevate it through scheduling. Traditionally played on Thanksgiving weekend, it has the potential to grow in national importance as both programs develop under new coaching regimes. The Battle Line rivalry is still maturing, but its foundation is solid, and the game's consistently competitive. Vanderbilt versus Tennessee. Vanderbilt and Tennessee have played annually since 1927, with a rivalry that stretches back to 1892. While early years saw Vanderbilt dominate, winning 19 of the first 24 meetings, the modern era has been one-sided in favor of Tennessee. As of 2024, Tennessee leads the all-time series 81-33-5. Despite the imbalance, this in-state rivalry remains meaningful, especially in Nashville and among fans with mixed allegiances. The matchup is often the final game of the regular season and has served as a bowl eligibility decider on multiple occasions. Between 2012 and 2016, Vanderbilt won 3 of 5 meetings, a stretch that included a 45-34 win in 2016 that knocked Tennessee out of Sugar Bowl contention. Under head coach James Franklin, the Commodores took steps to challenge their larger rival, and those wins remain high points in program history. Tennessee has since regained control of the series, winning comfortably in recent years, including a 56-0 rout in 2022 that sealed a 10-win season and Orange Bowl berth. Still, for Vanderbilt, this rivalry offers a rare chance to flip the script and make headlines. While Tennessee views the game as a tune-up in strong seasons, Vanderbilt treats it as an opportunity to reset the narrative. And every once in a while, they do. From century-old grudges to new-age shootouts, SEC rivalries run deeper than records or rankings. These games shape seasons, define programs, and unite or divide entire states. If you love college football history, subscribe now, because we're just getting started.